Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crossover. Starring Josh Johnson and Chris McGill. Featuring Christina Thorson. And of course, you, the Instagram live chat. Now, sit back and enjoy this week's edition of The Crossover. Powered by Card Ladder.
Dude, I got the notification you went live. I clicked it immediately, and I already saw people saying first and second.
Yeah.
So
it's hard out here.
You got to be like refreshing, I think. You can't even wait for the notification. You have to be refreshing on the screen.
Did you have your app open, or did the notification get pushed?
Both. I mean, I had the app open, notification pushed. I clicked the notification, came right in, and I saw first and second in the chat.
Damn. Yeah, that's cold.
These streets, man. These streets.
I know. It's wild out here. Okay. Gonna try and keep it a little bit short today because we have to get on the road tomorrow. So, not a great one to keep short because we have a lot of questions. I think people had some questions saved up. But let's go through.
Detour?
Small detour, yeah.
You're leaving awfully early for a show that starts in a week.
Yeah, I know. It's we just like to
like to get there early.
Like to be ahead of schedule.
You like to detour and go the wrong way.
Yep, small detour.
It's not really the wrong way. It's just a roundabout way to the same location.
Well, someone could say to themselves, someone, I'm not sure who, could say, man, you guys could probably detour through Arizona, but, or you could detour through a different way.
Well, this is the very, very scenic, extra scenic route. Yeah.
Probably not good for the, the altitude changes and such. It's probably gonna hurt.
Right, yeah. It's good. Yeah, the altitude change, you gotta give yourself an adjustment period. So, all right. Today is Friday, March 24th, and we will not be doing a crossover next week because we're going to be in Vegas for the Mint. So maybe if you're listening on podcasts, listen to half now and half next week, and then you'll get your fix.
Will people be able to listen to any of the Mint panels through video or podcast?
As far as I know, only if somebody's going to be live streaming it, like somebody we know.
Because I don't think
there's any plans.
Nonsense and Luca Tiger, they'll be doing their shows from the Mint, right?
This is true. Did you want to do a crossover from the Mint?
What do you think?
No, we always say that, and then we just don't. We get caught up in the excitement, and we're just.
All right. Yeah. No. It just.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy.
Right. Exactly.
Unless people want to see crossover live from the craps tables.
Yeah.
I can't film there.
You're right. That's a small problem.
That is a small problem. All right.
How about crossover live at the craps tables for people in audience only? So you have to be at the craps tables with us.
So our friends are just basically crossover audience members.
And isn't that kind of how it is?
We're at the craps table, and Drake just peppers us with questions about how he can't get people on eBay to sell him stuff. Is that?
Yeah, how can he buy more paid trading cards? Ask while you guys are rolling the dice.
Maybe we could ask Steve Manning himself. He's going to be on a broadcast.
Yeah, there you go.
He's in the chat. I love you, Drake.
What's up, Drake? Nice. Drake, staying up late. Love it.
He says we're going live. I'm excited to hang out with you.
All right, Drake. If Drake will broadcast it, maybe we'll do a 5-minute.
Then we'll go live with Drake getting thrown out of a Vegas casino.
Yeah. All right. Do you have any mail days?
I have the opposite of a mail day, and it's going to be devastating for the two of you, but I know you have real mail days.
You have a sale day?
Not a sit. No, it's not the opposite. I take that back. It is going to be. You guys are going to be disappointed. So you go first. You have the real mail days.
Okay. All right. Well, that's quite the teaser.
It is.
Okay. I'll go first. Here, let's do this. 2-card mail day this week. Picked up one of these.
Which one's the new one? Do you even know?
I do know that it's this one, actually, because this was the first, but it came in the One Touch, and usually eBay puts them into a card saver. But I actually kind of appreciate them keeping it in the original holder, because then, I don't have to worry about it getting crammed in. I've definitely had a card damaged by having it crammed into one of these.
So you're going to grade these 3?
Yes. Dude, I have about 70 or 80 PC cards that I'm going to grade.
At the Mint?
At the Mint, yes, sir.
Dude, that's
well, at least I'm
the best way to do it, right?
Yeah, it's just more fun that way. I'll get a few of them to get turned around within the show, but most are just going to be drop-offs. But that's light. This is light. Let's just get this out of here. I don't even want to think about this. This is the mail day that is the one I'm most excited to show.
Woo.
This is the new Prison Football Black Finite 1-of-1 McCaffrey. And this keeps the run alive. Every McCaffrey Prison Black Finite from the base set 1-of-1.
So what's your I saw the post you made, or maybe it was a comment, and I laughed so hard because you were like, the red 23, I'm screwed.
Yeah. I mean, that's a really dangerous card to pursue just because, he's wearing MJ's number. So
Did he overnight that? Yeah, I feel like you messaged me like 2 days ago, and okay, he overnighted it.
Yeah, I had it overnighted. Yeah, I wasn't going to wait. And I wanted it before we left for the Mint. So, great. So, yeah, that's I've never known the anxiety of needing a card that just came out, Like, I've never, it's weird. It's more of a relief to have gotten it than like a chase. So
did people tag you like, hey, we found it, or did you find it?
No, I did not find it. So it showed up in a Facebook group that I'm not a member of. And I had one guy send me a screenshot of it within an hour of the post, which was great. And then a few other people sent it to me as well. And then I just hopped in the group and I started messaging the person who owned it. She had bought a hobby box at her local shop in New York, like the state, not the city. And she just went out to her car, opened the box, hit the card, made the post on this Facebook group, and then I started messaging absurd offers.
So then you were begging for money in the streets tonight?
Yes. Yep. I mean, the biggest risk about going to the Mint is the eviction notice that might be on our door when we get there.
Well, hopefully no one steals your the parts from under your car while you guys are gone.
Yeah, I know. We cannot afford a third catalytic converter.
So did the person who sold it to you said it was a female. Did I get that wrong?
No, that's right, yeah.
Okay, so did she know about the fact that you had all of them, and did she rake you over the coals on this?
No, but I was very upfront about it. I was like, I'm just going to completely level with you. I need this card. I'm going to outbid anybody else.
Yep.
And you can see that I have the 5 others from his first 5 seasons. And I sent my little video of them all. So I said, look, practically speaking, you have me over a barrel, and what's it going to be? Because this is going to happen. So let's just get it done. I made a strong offer. I know all the other CMAC collectors. It ain't that many. Just what's it going to be? They
probably all were like, whoa, I mean, I'll just, back off here.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, did you at least feel better when I told you, like, I thought you underpaid relative to how much I know about you?
Yeah. No, I split the difference. So
You did. It's like here's what it's actually worth, Chris,
Right.
and here's what I think you paid, and you're right in the middle.
you know what? That's a win for me.
That means that extra monies needs to go towards next year's copy.
I was thinking the craps table, but
Don't- that's a dangerous game, fella. That's where that money turns to zero.
yeah, well, it was going to turn into zero anyway, right? So,
Yeah. Yep.
all right. Let's see. What do you got? What's your opposite of the mail day?
So I haven't gotten a card in a while, and it's been a bummer. I haven't found like the slam bams. I bid on a couple of LeBrons and I lost, and then I got a tax refund, and my Honda has been not so great lately. So I did buy a new car yesterday.
Oh shit! Let's go.
Good job.
Okay, so have you left Team Honda?
Yes, I bought a Tesla. Gasp! I know the tech nerd guy bought a Tesla. Shocker!
Yeah, that's on brand. On brand. Is it self-driving?
It is not. I didn't, dude. That stuff is so expensive, like the self-driving add-ons and stuff. So I just bought it through their site. I don't have it yet. It'll be here sometime.
I would have loved to just see you pulling into Vegas in a self-driving Tesla. No hands, just maybe even asleep or something. Just reading your phone as your Tesla pulls you in to the valet. That would have been.
No, I mean the important thing was don't sell any cards to buy a car. I've been hitting this dry spell. The tax return was extra money I wasn't counting on, and this is like if I'm ever gonna upgrade my car, which has been a piece of crap lately, this is the time.
Yeah, that's well deserved. Congratulations on the Tesla. Let's go.
Picture Christina over there, like,
Can we
sell out?
Can we have is it in the garage? Can we have a look at it?
No, we'll do that when I get it. You order it through the app,
Oh,
and then you go,
bought a car on an app.
Yeah.
Nice.
and then it gets delivered to you in a whatever, a month or whatever, 2 weeks. I don't know how long it is.
Nice. Oh man, what do you know? What color it is?
White.
Nice. Okay. The Mayo Whip. I can't wait to see this thing.
Yeah. It's my first ever new car.
Damn. So are we gonna get a hashtag Thank You Sports Cards post? Because I mean that might be fun.
No,
We could all join.
that would not be fun. That'd be fun for everyone but me. No. Yeah, I sold my Bitcoin to buy it, guys. I sold my punk.
Now I think you need to make a Twitter account. I think let's bring this Elon Musk thing all the way around. Get you on Twitter. Let's go. How long? CZ Cards wants to know how long did you have the Honda?
Well, I bought it from my mom 8 years ago.
Okay. So
This is the first new car I've ever bought. I leased a car once, and then I've had 3 other cars, and I paid a grand total of $10,000 for all 3 of those.
Nice. What'd you do with the Honda? Did you?
I'm selling it to a friend, a family friend who has a teenage son that needs a car.
Nice. Okay.
It'll be close to my heart, close to me. I'll see it.
Yeah, it's going into it's finding a new home, as we say. Is the Tesla the SUV style or the coupe style?
So I was gonna get a car to upgrade my car, right? And so I was looking at the coupe, something small for me, and then she's like, "Well, maybe you should get something bigger for the kids." And then I was like, "Yeah, let's look at the bigger one." And then last minute, I was like, "Wait, you already have a car that's an SUV. This is my upgrade. I'm getting the smaller one."
Nice.
So I got like the Model 3.
It ain't that easy to trick Josh Johnson.
No, she almost had me. I was like going to buy it. I was like, "Why am I buying the SUV? This is my car. I don't want an SUV. I want something smaller."
Facts. Oh, does this mean your Vegas budget is depleted?
No, literally, I'm not exaggerating. Like it wasn't like all of my tax refund. I don't want to give away how much my tax refund was, but it was like I thought I was going to owe taxes this year, and I just didn't know. And then I got a refund. I was like, "Oh,
Nice.
extra money. So I know my budget is the same. I'll have money to. I'm looking to buy LeBrons at Vegas.
So
Let's go.
really, you should make a thank you government post.
Hashtag thank you, Joe.
Tax, and I'm gonna get a tax rebate from buying the car.
Oh man, that's wins on top of wins. So let me ask.
Hashtag thank you, Uncle Sam.
So when are you coming out with your Coinbase wallet? Your maybe a little portfolio.
My MetaMask.
Your MetaMask, yeah.
I don't think
That coming up.
I don't think that's related, but never.
Well, congrats, man. That's
We have like a million questions, right?
we do. Let's get to some of these. All right. Teslas are badass, by the way. We've looked at back when we lived in LA. We used to go to the Century City Mall, and like they have different models in the mall. They're pretty sweet, and they weren't as expensive as I thought they might have been.
Right. That's why I got it. I went on the site and I was like, I thought they were like luxury car prices. They're kind of like regular priced cars, I think.
What is it? Is the Tesla the optic gold of cars?
No.
What's the hobby comp for the Tesla?
Flawless.
The flawless. Okay, so it's nice, but it doesn't have you might be surprised at the reasonable price you could get some of the nice
It's
flawless for.
like the game used is maybe the electrical. It's like the combustion. The combustion engine is like the player worn.
That's great. I need to be writing some of this stuff down.
No, they're sweet cars. When they first built the 3 back in like 2016 or whatever that was, I put down the deposit to get one because I was pretty excited about them. And then I just was like, they're too expensive, and I pulled it out, and I just never got it. So now I'm kind of circling back to get one finally.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well deserved. All right, let's get to these questions. Drake's PC is up first. He says, besides your own, what panels or workshops are you most looking forward to at the Mint?
Christina's.
Christina's, yep. Christina has a great one. The Collectors to Corporate.
Yep, collectors to corporate.
Yep. Also, a brand new panel sort of flew in under the radar for anybody who looked at the schedule.
Yep.
There's a new panel hosted by Josh Luber at the Mint called Luber's Manifesto 18 Months Later, which should be pretty good. So I'll say those, but I think there's going to be lots of different good panels. I really don't know what they are. I mean, there's so many of them. I'm not quite sure what those. I'm not quite sure what panels even I should be looking forward to. I'll be wandering around and make.
No, I think Christina's will be important. I think it's going to be very topical right now because there's some unrest with a lot of businesses, like Dibs closing the marketplace and some of that stuff. So I feel like it's topical to discuss sort of like the collector being involved in the corporate scene.
Yeah, that's true. Should be good.
We also have Sabrina Ionescu doing a keynote panel.
Yeah.
About the future of sports fandom.
Interesting. Okay. Let's go. All right. Next question is from Card Shop Dad. Have you enjoyed watching? Have you enjoyed March Madness? And what's been your favorite game?
That Gonzaga UCLA game was amazing. Did you watch that game?
I did. Yeah, that's like the one game I did watch.
Me too. I've only watched like 4 or 5, and I was like, wow, UCLA's going to kill him. And then it was like, wow, Gonzaga's going to kill him. And then it was like, oh my God, wait, UCLA's going to win. Oh, wait, no.
Dude, unbelievable. Great play by Gonzaga there with that to go up 3. I mean,
ballsy.
I didn't see that play coming. Yeah, that's that same Villanova. That they won.
Yeah. Yep, he like went under the screen. It was like, yeah, that's probably the right move. Make this guy shoot a tough 3, and he just pulled it. And did you see that the 2 1 seeds lost today were out of 1 seeds?
Yeah, that's really weird. I tried to make a bracket, and it just everybody's bracket blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Did you see Brandon Miller's box score?
No, I didn't.
He's like the guy that people are like, oh, maybe he's better than Scoot for the number 2. He was like 3 of 18 shooting.
That's pretty rough. Man, okay. All right, let's go on here. PLB cards. Did you watch the World Baseball Classic?
No. I mean, I saw sort of the back and forth about like people saying Trout is him and, if he ever was on a real team, this is what he'd do in the playoffs. And then people saying he sucks and this is what it's like. Is he good or bad? I can't tell.
I think it's safe to say he's good, but he gets a lot of smoke.
Ooh, what do you mean?
He gets a lot of heat for having, great statistical seasons, but having some injuries lately and not having any playoff success to speak of.
Yeah.
But, when ESPN puts out these lists, though, I mean, they have
Wouldn't
them like top 20 all time.
Would you say baseball is, the least effective effect for a single player by far? Like, is it even close?
Like playoff success? Like how much
Yeah,
money
like
does that individual player?
yeah. Like basketball's number 1 because there's only 5 guys on the court, and football it's like the quarterback, and then hockey they rotate a lot, so it's hard to say. And baseball is just like, dude, you're just like one of the 20 guys.
Yeah, it's without a doubt. And baseball is like very much one-on-one matchups. One pitcher versus one batter.
Yep.
So, there's a lot of emphasis put on the individual in baseball, but the point of sports fandom is to root for teams to win. Like that's always got to be part of the equation of sports, whether it's fair or not.
Yeah.
Is that the thing that engages us in sports is when the team that we root for wins.
Well, I know you like the individual stats and you like to try to separate it from the team. Would you enjoy collecting baseball? If you were a baseball collector, would you get more enjoyment out of that and have more pride in the fact that, like, as a hobby, me being a player collector, it like benefits me more to have it structured this way where I can just focus on my favorite players and their stats?
Yeah, there's something very, very appealing about that in baseball, for sure. But maybe one of the reasons why I like taking that approach in basketball and football is just that it feels like it's niche. It feels like it's something a little more unique. Mm-hmm. Whereas in baseball, this is how it's done, and might feel a little less exciting. You wouldn't be thinking outside of the box in baseball if you're just following the way that people think about it anyway.
True.
So okay. I tried watching the championship game, and congrats to Japan, by the way, on winning that. I tried watching that game, but I made it like 2 innings, and I tapped out. I felt
well, this question is going to really show my lack of baseball. Did they have this pitch count thing for this game, or is it like Olympic rules, or they have separate rules?
I don't know what the rules are, but there was not a timer on the pitchers.
Okay. Is it? I mean, it's kind of like in Olympics, like the game is so different where they can pull it off the rim and stuff. Is it like that or no?
No, I think as far as I could tell, it was the same standard baseball rules. So, and I did see a stat that an absurd percentage of Japanese televisions were watching this game. A crazy high number. And it was the most watched baseball game ever in terms of ratings. Not domestically, but worldwide.
Was it on ESPN or something?
Dude, it was on Fox Sports 1.
Oh.
Yeah. But it wasn't America that was carrying the ratings. It was everybody else.
Right.
Who was carrying them. So that was pretty cool. Okay. JGP Collectibles says, I've noticed the quality of questions has deteriorated of late. It was readily apparent that the previous episode before the crossover went on hiatus. What can we do as viewers to come up with better questions?
Well, I mean, there's only so many questions you can ask, right?
Exactly.
Do you think it has anything to do with like the market being down versus up? Do you think there's any correlation to that?
I think we had our fair share of unique questions during the boom. Let me turn that back to you. Which questions are more enjoyable for you? The questions in a down market or the questions in a skyrocketing market?
The questions or the posts from people bragging. I mean, the questions to me, I don't think there's any difference.
Okay.
I just can't. I would prefer to have the posts about, when the market's going down versus people bragging about themselves and it's going up. Personally.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the questions are just fine, honestly. Like we get a ton of collector-oriented questions lately, and they're fun. But it's just more like what you said. Like sometimes you can really, it's hard to get fired up to answer similar questions.
Yeah, it was just 1 week. I feel like it was just a one-off week. For
sure. But look, I mean, sometimes answers can change to questions too. So, yeah. Jose, it's very noble to take that upon yourself, but I think the questions are okay.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the next question from Aharm82. He says, why is everybody mad that Disney's 100th anniversary cards are popular?
I know nothing about this topic. You're going to have to help me out here.
I was hoping you might know something about this topic. I know that there's a Black Finite Mickey Mouse 101 that's got some.
I mean, if a lot of people play cricket and pickleball, I would imagine Disney cards are just going to be through the roof. It's a worldwide thing, right? Or no? Soccer?
I think that's how that works, yeah.
I don't know. Is it like who even makes these?
I have no idea.
Ugh. I was hoping you had some facts about like the brand, the company that makes them, the licensing around this.
Nope, this is not in my wheelhouse.
Because it's Black Finite, it's got to be Panini, right?
It's not. I don't think it's called the Black Finite. It's a dead ringer for a Black Finite.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it feels, not knowing anything about it and just kind of sitting on it from the outside, it feels like a bit of a Marvel pump and dump. Sorry, just from the outside looking in.
Fair enough.
My thing with it is Disney, is very protective of their brand.
Right.
And the fact that it's not promoted by Disney sketches me out a little bit about the licensing.
Is that true? Disney doesn't promote it?
I haven't seen any promotion for it. Have you?
I don't think I'm anywhere near the target demographic for Disney.
Someone in the chat says Kakao is the brand. Kakao.
Yeah, this is so far out of my wheelhouse, but it's on people's minds, so I just wanted to give a little voice to the point.
Did I ever show you that I bought some Super Mario cards for my son?
Super Mario? No, I did not see that.
So he's really big in Super Mario, and there was a licensed product of cards for Super Mario, and I just grabbed the top Mario and Bowser card on eBay. And so that's kind of the demographic is I would buy it for my kid. I'm not sure if you should pour thousands of dollars as an adult into this thinking you'll get rich. It kind of feels like eventually these will level out into the territory of gifts for kids.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right. Hot Sauce Sports Cards. What are your thoughts on Michael Rubin and his team hitting up card shows and learning the hobby?
That's a must. It's an absolute must. You'll learn the most at the card shows.
Oh, I find it interesting that he's not only that he's going, but that he's making deliberate content showing himself going and then posting it to his social media, his personal social media channels. He's being intentional and deliberate about signaling to the public that he is going to these shows and he is there to learn things and to spread confidence in what he wants fanatics to do in the industry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the three of us have noticed in the last 3 years, being in the business side of it now, like the part that we've struggled with is the person who's like in the corporate world and trying to force their way into cards and trying to do it sort of, not through like an organic enjoyment of the space. And so that's kind of what we're hoping for here, right? Is like that Ruben actually enjoys it. And I think this is the best way to do that. Like jumping into PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that and talking about what you think collectors should be doing and investors and like telling us the user flows, I think is the wrong way to do it.
Yeah.
And the right way is to kind of humble yourself and just like dive into it and understand you probably don't know enough about it. So going to the shows is kind of your best bet.
Yeah. Well said. I think the thing I get a little cautious about is when it verges on like, we're going to make this so much better.
Yeah.
Like that's when it's like, hold on a minute. And it relates to a post that Cardporn made. They basically said the Cardporn post was something that's like definitely in the air right now among people who are thinking strategically about the industry, which is how do we make it bigger? How do we bring in more and more people? And I understand why certain industry interests want that. Lots of people in this industry, from the manufacturers on down, make products that need new people to consume them more and more. So they care about that a lot. And but what I would say to that is the answer is counterintuitive. The way, in my opinion, that you recruit in new people to join the hobby is not by plastering them with promises of great wealth or even a great experience. That's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to show rather than tell. And what you want to show people is that the people who are already in the hobby show how well they are treated by the hobby. Show how good their experience is. In other words, the best recipe to organically and sustainably growing the sports card industry is by making sure the people who are already in it are enjoying themselves and will speak highly of it, and that they feel well taken care of. And my analogy to that is it's just like an NBA player in free agency. When they're scouting teams, one of the things that they look at is they say, how has this team historically treated its players? And like I know that the Mavericks make a big stink about this because they say, look at how well we treated Dirk Nowitzki. Look at, we named streets after him. We erected a statue for him. He can have any position in this organization that he wants anytime he wants it. He's welcome at all the games, etc. Look at how well we take care of our best players. I think the hobby would do well. The hobby businesses would do well to take that same approach. Take care of the collectors who are already in the hobby, and the rest is going to largely work itself out. What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I hope some of these people are on this live and taking notes because it's free advice again for like the 100th time in the show. Is like,
right.
I don't know how many times we have to say it to stop focusing on the investing and the wealth because that just doesn't last. It doesn't stick. Those people are not sticky. That way isn't working. It can't. We're back to the prices of 2020 and 2019. Like what we just wasted all this time talking about investment when we're back to the same starting point. We grew up all these types of businesses, all these new product ideas came out, and now we're going back to everyone's converting their businesses into ones that already existed. Now we've got 12 of the same business, and then they're gonna merge, and then we're gonna be back to where we started. Like if we would have just taken all that resource and time and focused on, forgive me for using you as an example and embarrassing you, but like we should be just focusing on people that are able to put together fucking 6 one-of-one black finites of one player versus like trying to pump up the guy who has 10 Fleer Jordan PSA 10s and he's using it as an investment and this is how he's maintaining liquidity and vaulting. Like that's just our opinion on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because also like the investment side is just a lot of it comes from the high end and a lot of that just like isn't attainable or relatable. And so to get people to show, anyone can go to a card show and have fun. I think, we could I don't want to use the word convince, but we could market to people to go to a sports card show and figure out your favorite player, your favorite sets at any value, any dollar amount, and you can have fun. Versus you're going to have to save up $100,000 to be a viable option in the investing space, and you're going to need to set up these accounts. You're going to need these, you need to register for these 12 sites. Like, this stuff is just not as appealing and not as long lasting.
Yeah, man, that's it. That's it right there. It's hard to express it in tangible terms. I like that show example, the card show example. I think that's a really good way to just put it into tangible terms. You know, it's the stickiness is ultimately, from the industry long-term point of view, that's who's going to make this industry sustainable, is the people who are sticky and who enjoy collecting cards for its own sake. I think that's got to be a big part of this thing. It doesn't have to be everything, but you know, in order to weather the inevitable highs and lows, I think you need that.
It's like you need to go through the 101 course, right? You need to learn the basics. Like, I need to fall in love with it first before you can graduate to how do I also make this financially not destructive to my life, and how do I like keep my money, you know, invested in this and not get destroyed after you've already learned to, you know, integrate it into your life as a hobby, you know?
Yeah. Yep. Okay. All right. Lauren goes here, says, do you keep any cards on display, such as on your desk?
Back when I worked in an office, it's been a few years, but I used to bring a card like every day, and I would just prop it up, and it was always a great conversation starter. People would ask, like, that's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. What is that? Tell me about it. And, you know, it usually sparks some sort of like fun conversation, but I usually have something around me. Yeah. I've always got like 3 or 4 on my desk.
Yeah. There's always a card in arm's length. It's not necessarily like always standing up, you know, but it's always there. It's always just a reach away. So,
it would be weird if we spent this much time with cards and we didn't have cards around us.
Right. I mean, at the end of the day, just the main activity once you have the card is looking at it. So it should be out once in a while. Okay. Beans Ball Card Blog says, with a little pizzazz, do collectors that are too good to collect base cards have the self-awareness of how arrogant they come off?
What do you say to this, Chris? We don't really collect base cards, and we're pretty open about that. What would you say to that?
No, after that question came in, I decided to convert my PC to base. So, no, I think it's a fair point. I think this is a recurring point, is that but I think that there's a little bit of parsing that needs to happen. I think base cards and vintage are everything. Base cards in ultra-modern product have scarily high print runs. And I think that a lot of the negativity that gets directed towards base cards is not towards the people who collect them at all. And it has nothing to do with vintage or earlier eras of cards where base was everything, the beginning and the end. I think it has to do with more of a skepticism about manufacturers who have made tens or maybe even hundreds of thousands of copies of base cards, because there's a lingering trauma about another junk wax era that proves harmful to collecting, and that it might even threaten our ability to continue to collect and to have a robust industry and community. I think that's where it comes from. It's certainly not a disrespect in any way of the great base cards of the hobby, and it's not even a disrespect of the people who collect ultra-modern base cards. Not at all. It's more a worry that base cards are printed in great excess.
Yeah.
And it might, that just, I think there's legitimate reasons to be worried about that.
Yeah, I like that. I'll take it in a slightly different route. The base card, to me, just like serves a different function. And the example I'll give is my favorite era of cards being from the 90s. And when I think of the 90s cards, I think of cheap packs. I think of like one or two parallels of extremely scarce cards that I'm chasing. And the only way that I'm going to want to chase those is if it's surrounded by base cards. I'm thinking of like 97 Metal, where the base cards have pretty good standalone value visually. Like I enjoy the base set. I think it's well designed, but it also creates this feeling of like there's a lot of these, and if I'm going through packs, I'm just gonna have a ton of base cards, and it adds to the allure of this chase of this one card inserted. If they only had parallels and they only had the green PMGs and red PMGs and gold prisms, nobody would even be chasing them and collecting them because it's just like that's all you get. So you have to have the base to prop up against the rare. You can't. The base serves a function, and if you want to collect the base on its own, that's also totally viable. People can still do that. It just gives people more options to collect either or both, and it also gives the comparison of scarcity relative to the base.
Absolutely. Another thing that worries me a little bit about base is just that there is something very appealing about PSA 10 base in large quantities to flipper and investment oriented people who they really love this concept of would I rather have $100 cards or one $10,000 card, and they want the $100 cards because something about just having that quantity and being able to sell a little bit here if the market goes up. Yeah, and buy a little bit more if it goes down, and watch the pile grow. And there's like this. I think it's captured in that old business mentality of sell to the masses, live with the classes. They like the idea of like I have the thing that the common man wants. And if I just take the Walmart approach. And that's something that's a little I'm not totally comfortable with that approach to collecting either, because I think it's antithetical to what's at the foundation of collecting, which is gathering rare things together.
You're hitting on what worries me the most about Fanatics is that they're used to working in a commodity-based business where they're just like they have demand for jerseys, they make jerseys, they sell them, they ship them. This is a totally different structure. It's a hobby. It's a collectible. People are searching for things that you can't readily get. This isn't milk. This isn't a grocery store. This isn't Walmart. This isn't a traditional retail marketplace space. And a lot of the businesses that have popped up are trying to treat it like a retail marketplace, and it's just not. I shouldn't be able to go on, Walmart.com and buy a Luka Prism Gold. That should not be possible. It should be tough. I should have to network and know where these things are. I should have to know the community. That's how collectibles and hobbies work. If I wanted to get, taking it to the car thing, since that's on my mind, if I wanted to get a rare car, I shouldn't be able to go to the dealership down the street or buy a car from my app if it's something that I'm interested in as a hobby, as a collectible. It should be tough. It should be like 1,000 of these, and I have to go and be on these forums and learning about like certain clubs of people that collect cars. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I have nothing to add to that.
That's the advice for Fanatics. Don't treat this like printing jerseys,
Yeah, exactly. That's a fast track to disaster. Beavis Cards says, if Fanatics 10X is the hobby and only the second inning, then demand for base could go up.
Well, are you worried that like if we're depending on the pool of people to 10X, does that mean that we're gonna have 100 gold prisms to scale, or we're just gonna have more base? To your point.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That's a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
If we have 10 Prism Black 1-of-1s every year, because what if that 10X isn't long term? then we've just printed ourselves into oblivion. So that's concerning. That's extremely concerning.
Yeah, we're just like guessing, right? They haven't even taken over the basketball and football license. Like, we can't say whether we're excited, we're scared. I mean, we're just completely like postulating.
Yeah, but now's the time to do this. Now's the time to say all the things that worry us. Is now. It's much worse. Yeah, it's much worse to do it after it's already done.
Yeah, we can put these things out into the universe, and hopefully our, pull within the space is good enough to help. We're not trying to tell people what to do. We're trying to help.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of, I think Michael Rubin had, and from the top down, Fanatics, through his leadership, really care about the opinions of people who are in our industry. They really want to know how we feel and think about stuff. So, we would give our opinions whether it was solicited or not, but I do think it's solicited in this case. I think this is exactly what people want. People who are trying to navigate our industry want to know.
Yeah. Well, this is the part in the show when everyone in the chat needs to start dropping HOJ for president. This is like you're like Bernie Sanders, and we're trying to distribute the wealth equally in cards. This is your job.
Yeah, I had somebody message me after I made like a few story posts about understand the hobby or something from a few weeks ago, and he was like, "This has like charterism to it," and I didn't even know what that was. So I had to go look. It was like a working class revolution from the 1840s in Britain. And I said, okay, all right. I think we have that vibe a little bit. We get a little, what's the word? Revolutionary sometimes. A little radical.
Sometimes you go on like a stump speech.
Well, we're saying things that are not in the common sense dialogues in boardrooms of hobby companies.
Yeah, why? It's not in the dialogues in boardrooms and hobby companies because hobby companies refuse to hire collectors who are thinking about the longevity of the industry over the profits of today.
I don't know if it's refusal as much as collectors really do they want to work in this industry?
Yeah. Well, there's like a stigma around collectors that we're maybe more, cave dwelling types and less business savvy, high rise office type people. So that's probably a bit of it.
Yeah. Maybe we're in the cave of the high rise. We're in the
that wasn't a lob for you to take the metaphor further. There was no slam dunking that.
When I do that, it's called one-upping. When you guys do it, it's called taking the metaphor further.
Oh, all right. I got to write that down now.
She got the caption 2 weeks ago. She had her run. She's come up here acting like she's a caption maker. No.
Yeah, you can ask Pac Nicholson about how hard it is to repeat.
No, I wasn't trying. I was trying to make fun of the two of you, not submit an entry to the caption game.
Okay.
I'll take my one and done, and I'll go be barefoot in the kitchen, Josh. Will that make you happy?
Okay, that's a one-upping. All right. AP.
No, I took the metaphor further.
You made a whole new metaphor. AP Cards 23 says, I love the show and the work you gremlins put in. Gremlins,
that's a pretty good term for us.
Yeah. Well, let me write that one down. Gremlins.
I'm not sure if it's good or bad or if I should be offended, but it sounds cool.
Sounds cool. Maybe a rebrand is in order. The Gremlin.
Don't gremlin? They only come out at night, or you feed them? Or I don't remember the rules.
Feed them after dark. Don't give them water.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well. Anyway. The question goes on. A lot more cards have become affordable over the last year, which is exciting, but it also makes it hard to navigate. Do you have any advice for a casual collector who likes anything cool, whether it's 90s or modern, on how to find pockets of value in a down market? I have no interest in flipping. I'm just trying to maximize bang for my limited buck.
Well, this is the plug for Card Ladder to check the indexes, like see where they are relative to a couple years ago. Depending on like the area you're talking about, if it's basketball, like maybe try to plot today's point of basketball index versus like something you feel comfortable with. Maybe we're back to 2020 points, and it's like, you don't want to catch it on the halfway point of this massive downswing, but you don't want to. It's impossible to time it. I mean, this is where you jump in and turn this into like, don't try to time it and just buy what you feel.
Exactly. But I do like the point about understanding where markets are at and where they were at historically and what the trends are. Like, that's going to be very helpful. And it's always good to have a pulse on a player's market as well. Like, which direction is that player's market moving in right now? I think that's going to be super helpful. Like, if I was looking at getting into the Mahomes market, it would be incredibly relevant to me to know that his index is half off of what it was 9 months ago. And then
double the Super Bowls.
Yeah. And then to contextualize that with that coincides with a second MVP, a second Super Bowl, and a second Super Bowl MVP, and just kind of think about
why that might be and come up with reasons for it and stuff. So, but yeah, I think the overall point is that if you collect through the good and then you collect through the bad, and then at the end, it probably at worst washes out. That's the hope.
Well, you talked 2 weeks ago and before about how, if you're a Mahomes collector over the last 2 years, you're kind of just like throwing your arms up like, what the hell am I supposed to do? So at least understanding the past and the history of where the market has been is going to help you navigate it a little bit better. Like the Mahomes example is really good because if you're buying stuff now and you've done the research, that you're at least buying stuff, for half the price of what you could have if you had bought at the peak or whatever. So, it'll give you a little bit of comfort knowing there is some precedent set for like this thing could be double. If you're buying everything at the all-time high, that's reason to worry. Like you're the one that's sort of chasing this bad, or you're always continuously being the all-time high. That's what you want to avoid.
Yeah, that's very true. And there's something to be said for just kind of diving in, not, being too trigger shy. Like, you have to start somewhere. Once you've bought cards for long enough and you've been looking at your save searches for long enough and you kind of know how often the stuff that you want comes up for sale and you've bought a few, and then once you buy a card, you're incentivized to track the further comps of other copies or similar cards. You sort of naturally develop a feel. You develop an intuition and a feel for the market. And then that, you combine that feel and that experience with hard numerical data in the form of indexes and stuff like that. You can put together a decent approach that's going to be naturally catered towards how you collect, but balanced out by data and experience. And I think that's a decent way to do it, because like once you develop that gut instinct of like, oh man, this was cheap. This felt cheap
without
based on
looking at stuff.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like just looking at it. Yeah.
That's the place that you probably want to try to get to, and that can be wrong too. My gut has been wrong plenty of times, but that's when you'll feel most at ease, I think, navigating an up or a down market.
Like, did you even research when you made an offer on the black? It's like, I have them all. I know what they're all worth. Yeah. I know what it's like. You just know the market so well.
I did a little bit of research, so that was the majority of it. Is like, I know what offer to make that's gonna beat everybody else. I know what that number needs to be.
And then you inflated it by like 20% just to make a bid them.
Exactly. But I also did go and look at what are the other parallels selling for on eBay right now. I went on those too. So then I looked at the bid patterns of those to make sure that they weren't shilled, because there's always going to be a few shilled. So I looked and make sure that this isn't a bunch of zero feedback accounts driving up the price, and look for relists and stuff, and understand, because I also know that when a new product comes out, stuff's more expensive and more sought after right away, and then it goes down.
Right.
All right. We had 2 comments on peel or coating. So Doc Collects Card says coating versus no coating. Where do you stand? What if the lettering of the coating is covering the player's face? Then what?
Well, I'm a keep the coating on guy. If for no other reason than I don't really want to buy something that I know someone's greasy mitts have been on, touching it and pulling stuff off of it.
Right.
That's pretty much it. Like, I like to buy things as they are pulled from the pack. I know that those were actually created for the purpose of you're supposed to peel them, right?
That's the other side, is that somebody messaged me and said, like, it's instructions that says peel off. So, that's the other opinion, is that, like, what do you mean? The card isn't even in its final state until you've removed the peel.
So you're no peel? I can't remember.
I don't care. I don't care either way. Honestly, it doesn't.
I like to feel it myself.
It doesn't, like.
I know where you stand. You hate it because of queries.
Well, yeah. Those cards are horrific to track because.
Dude, the pop report is messed up on them too. I've been dealing with that with pop reports. It's like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's something to. Here's another Fanatics insight. Consult us or somebody who does similar work to us.
There's no such person.
When it comes to naming sets and doing things like having photo variations and stuff, because it is so. There are certain things that are easily avoidable, but like Ohtani, it's just a killer that Ohtani has the pitching and the batting variation for some of his key rookies, because it makes those cards so difficult to track, because it's then incumbent upon the seller to specify whether it's the pitching or the batting.
Right.
They don't do it with any reasonable level, with any reliable level of consistency. So these are things that need to be addressed if tracking sales is of interest. But yeah, when it comes to coding and not coding, I don't care. I slightly lean towards it's better to have the peel on, personally. I think that's just a little bit cooler. I like stuff in its more original state. But I'm not going to get up in arms and go so far as to say if you remove the peel, you're altering the card or something. I think that's
right.
So, but all things equal, would I rather have a PSA 10 with the coating or a PSA 10 without? I'd rather have it with.
I think it's like the 94 finest refractor Gordon is a lower PSA 10 pop without the coating, which is kind of surprising. I think it's that one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's interesting. And then the other question we had on this was Tasty Card Sandwich says, what should the punishment be for peeling a 90s finest card in the present?
You have to keep it forever. You can't sell it.
Yeah, that would be a punishment for plenty of people out there. Okay. All right. Cards and Cardio says, I'm starting to see more and more collectors consolidate lower valued high pop cards into 4 to 5 figure slabs, myself included, to an extent. Do you see this trend increasing as the hobby gets smarter? And what will this do to the high pop, low value cards? Will this possibly drive up the price of the grails, or even just make their prices more sustainable?
I think that's been going on for a while. I think we're already there. That trend has been fortified for several years now. Maybe even before you and I joined. I don't think I'm so bold to say that we started that or anything. I think that's been around for a while. Well,
you know how everything has its most extreme instance, like Bitcoin going to 70K and now it's 25 to 30. You know, like it got extreme, and then it sort of came back to something. Is Cadix trade, MK Sports Cards trade with Grant, is that the sports card consolidation equivalent of Bitcoin going to 70K?
Like it's too far.
It's not that it's too far. I don't mean it that way. I just mean like we have pushed the logic of consolidation as far as it can go. When trades of that magnitude, when hundreds and hundreds of slabs are being consolidated into true Grail Michael Jordan PMG Championship caliber cards, like how much further can we go in consolidation than that? That's the peak of consolidation.
Yeah, I think this is similar to like the prices kind of just working themselves out. I think it's similar to this. Like there's a limit. I'm not saying the Kadic Grant trade is that either. I'm not making a proclamation of one person winning that trade either. But there is like it sort of self-balances on this, you know, like people realize, hey, I probably shouldn't sell, you know, $100 slabs for $1,000 slab. The math is not making sense anymore. You know, like it'll still work itself out on the value side. But for this person asking the question, I get the sense that they're like excited about this transition for themselves, and you should be excited about it because it's more fun to have more rare cards in lower quantity and higher quality. So I would say keep doing it, and then as new funds become available and you start to add to your collection, don't worry about continuing this new sort of like high ceiling you have where every new card that you bring in needs to be on par with these super expensive ones. You can keep having fun bringing in those lower value cards and then just sort of like do it again. You know, like if you get to the point where you bought a bunch of $100 cards and you're having fun with that again, then you just trade them off and do it again. You don't ever have to worry about like, you know, that's what I love about trading and consolidating. You never have to worry about just like burning your money on something, and you know, you can always just sell it and buy a new better card.
Yeah. Yep. And the other thing I would say is that to Cards and Cardio's question, like, what does this mean for the market for grails if more people are consolidating into grails versus what does it mean for the market for lower end stuff? Well, the thing is, in order for these trades to make sense, there has to be demand on both sides, which is kind of like the point that you were getting at, among others, is that in order for a consolidation to make sense, there has to be demand for the smaller cards on the one side as much as there's demand for the big card on the other. And so I've been a part of some smaller consolidation deals, you know, dozens of cards for one. And the reason why those trades are possible is because the person that I'm trading them to is a dealer who's going to be able to sell those and make a margin on them because he's got a network and customers who are looking for so that it all needs to work. In order for consolidation to make sense, you got to have, from a big picture point of view, you have to have demand on both sides. It's better if everything has a demand for it and has a sustainable value.
And I think there's always some level of demand for each level because of what I just said, where given your own level of what sort of card you can afford or where you are in your journey, you know, not everyone can afford $10,000, $100,000 cards. Right. Therefore, they're still looking to be involved in the hobby and they have fun with it. So they got, you know, if they're going to buy something, it's going to be cheaper. So there's demand for those cheaper cards, and it all just sort of has this living, you know, market.
Yeah. All right. Vinny Slamarino says always kind of like the show. No, he says I always enjoy the
this
show.
Week he's like mad at us for taking a week off, and he's like, "Show's okay."
He's like, I
fucking loser.
Usually like the show.
You guys are buying cards now, you fucking bums.
He says a rare Grail card that you already own, say something out of 10, comes up for auction. Describe your emotional reaction to this initially, and then all the way through the end of the auction.
Annoyed.
Yeah. Just does the annoyance fluctuate, or does it peak when it first comes up and then lower?
Yeah, I don't. You know, I think some people might be thinking like you're annoyed at first, but then you move into like I gotta like self market or something, and I gotta like prop this value up by showing how amazing my copy is and tell everyone on Instagram. I don't like that either, so I just kind of stick with annoyed and then
So
stay
it
out of it.
compounds. The annoyance can compound.
You know what I mean though? Like I see a lot of that, and it's like, oh, this isn't my copy, but I have one, FYI. But you guys would join the club with me and place your bids today and jump online.
And nothing's a bigger turnoff than the act of sort of desperate promotion for selfish interests. Yeah, that it has the reverse effect.
Should also be careful because certain people who own cards turn me off from buying them. So like the person who's self-promoting is like, come join the club. I'm like, I don't want to be in a club with you. So I'm not going to buy that card.
That's fair.
I think I just stay away from it. Like, I'm not going to bid on it. I don't need a second copy. Well, if it's a Jokic Optic Gold, I will buy it.
Yeah. When I first read this question, I completely overlooked the you already own part. I thought this question was about just describe your emotional state when a card that you need shows up.
Oh.
So I had an answer worked out in my head.
You have to be what you want it to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the way that works is like usually it's like excitement. It's like the discovery, oh shit, this card I need has showed up. Like, yes, I found it. And then it's excitement at the prospect of owning it. And then it quickly descends into lots of different fears. The one fear is like, who else is going to be bidding? Am I going to be able to place a winning bid on this card? Where's this going to go? Do I need to start selling stuff? And then it just anxiety sets in. But
don't you always get the sense that I always get this feeling, and you're describing it basically, but like that every motherfucker on the planet is looking at this card with you, and they're all going to be bidding on it. You're like, oh my god, everybody in the world wants this card as much as me right now, and it's like you and two people.
Yeah, for sure. Yep. And then there's just like the excruciating wait. And then you get, honestly, even boredom can set in sometimes because you're like, oh, after it's been up for a few days, you're like, yeah, there's still a few days to go. Or, if there's like a week or two to go, you're just like, all right, come on, let's fucking get on with it.
And the last 5 minutes is just pure like nervousness.
Okay. And then the last 5 minutes, I throw out everything that I planned or thought. It just all gets thrown out.
Your phone's on Do Not Disturb mode.
Yeah, and just every rational thought that may have come into my head over the 2 weeks of it being at auction completely goes away, and I just fire off a mega bid with 10 seconds left.
The worst thing that exists in cards is that the notifications are at 15 minutes. This is a world of instant gratification, right? We've got cell phones, everything's immediate. Let's shrink that motherfucker down to 2 minutes, ideally. 5. I'll live with 5, but I think it should be 2 minutes. Now the fun starts. Everyone get your phones ready. The notifications come flying in. Time to settle in. 2 minutes. How long does this take? 15 minutes is like, oh my god, I could watch a goddamn episode of Ted Lasso before this stupid thing ends.
It's so true. 15 minutes is way too long. I can forget so much in 15 minutes.
Yeah. 15 minutes, I'm like, I've checked all my apps again, and I've like answered 4 texts and
right.
told
15 minutes.
Christina to fix it herself. Like, it's just been a long time.
Yeah, it has. Okay. All right. Thank you for the question, Vinny. We always enjoy.
Someone in the chat says 30 seconds. Let's go. I'm down to shorten it. I like to live on the edge.
30 seconds. Oh, Lord.
2 minutes.
How about 2 notifications? How about 1 at 15 and 1 at 90 seconds?
How about 1 at 15, 5, 2, 1?
It should be like your iPhone's like snooze button.
The one time that I want more push notifications, literally the one time. We can't get it.
Dude, do you get the notifications from like, if you order fast food from apps, then those apps just like stalk the hell out of you. Hey, today we've got a free, buy one French fry, get one. It's Jesus, leave me alone. It's fucking 2 in the afternoon. I just ate. Leave me alone.
Yeah, exactly, dude. 90%, 99% of push notifications are unwanted. They're violations.
Today's National Pizza Day. Order a pizza today. Fuck off. I'll order it when I feel like it. So, some of the chat, read that one. Read that last one.
Now, that's Mohammed. Mohammed, we know what you're doing, and it's not going to work today, but you got to come up with a more clever one. Okay, but here's the thing. Don't make me go on a marketing rant at this late hour.
I'm gonna fucking nudge you into one somehow. There's a few words. You have like trigger words where if I just say those words, you just like.
You're like the push. You know what push words. You know what words to push.
Oh yeah, they're called trigger words.
Yeah. You know what trigger words to get my rants going. But I'm gonna avoid it. All right. The stats 23 says.
If a player has a good game, does their market go up?
I'm not gonna say. That is not the question.
Oh.
The question is liquidity. How important is it now?
Liquidity.
The question is a trade-up challenge really a trade-up challenge if you tell your potential trade partner that you're doing it?
Oh my God, I'm so glad that they said it that way. It's so true.
When does the obligation to support a trade-up challenge end?
I'm doing a trade-up challenge. Also, will you trade this really crappy card for one of your expensive ones? What? Do I have a choice here? Like, are you going to put this in your video that I look like an asshole for not saying yes?
Right.
You're a kid. It's probably a kid, too.
Well, don't get me started on these kids.
See? Look, I'm already starting the trigger buildup. Like, it's so easy. You just, like, you don't, like, dump it all on you at once. You, like,
Right.
slowly.
Yes. Yes. So apparently this is an issue because this is like the 10th instance of a question or a comment pointing out the awkward pressure that people at shows feel, especially people who set up at shows, the awkward pressure they feel when people are like coming to their table, like, do the trade-up challenge. And they're
With
like,
the camera.
yeah, like, should I do this or should I not do this? And meanwhile, these kids are trading from a paperclip to $1 million mansion.
You fantasize this shit so much. Oh, you just picture all these little kids running around with paper clips, just like fucking with Bugattis by the end of the day.
Watch me turn this pen to a small island through 8 trades.
In the Bahamas. Oh.
All right.
Dude, well, it's like someone in the chat, Caden's cards, I'll give him credit. How I feel when I have no cash ready when I see the Girl Scout cookies. One of my neighbors came to my house, and they had 2 girls, and they were like younger girls. And they're like, "Hey, we're selling Girl Scout cookies, please." And I was just like not in the mood. I think my kids were yelling at me. I didn't have any cash with me, and I'm just like, no. And I like, and they just looked at me like, "What are you monster? Like you have to do this." No.
You do have to. You Christina was guilt tripping many a person
I was not.
into buying
Something.
yeah.
Like recently?
Yes. Go
That's
ahead.
not true. I made like 2 announcements on Clubhouse that if anyone was interested, I had a link to my niece's Girl Scout
Oh, there it is. I knew it.
Yep.
Wow.
I didn't post the link. It was like that way you didn't feel like
I had like 6 people message me and say, "Do you think I bought enough?"
No, you didn't. Stop. You didn't buy it.
Should we tell everybody this entire show is now just a plastered sponsorship ad for Christina's niece's Girl Scout cookies?
I'm pretty sure it's over.
Yeah.
But I will have Girl Scout cookies at Mint if anyone wants it.
Dude, in a month, Christina's gonna have like a brand new like gold prism Luca card that she's like, oh, how did I afford to pay for? Oh, that's right. It's from the affiliate links that y'all fuckers clicked on.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Christina didn't say what the kickback was, did she?
No, my sister, when after I bought some, my sister told my niece that I was gonna sell them for upcharge.
Oh no. Oh,
She's flipping Girl Scout cookies now.
I literally am bringing them to Mint to give away. Like, I don't.
that's how much money she made off of this. She's got
Here's
to give away.
Here's a question: are these Girl Scout cookies that you're bringing to the Mint? Are they mint flavored? The only flavor that matters?
That's and it would be appropriate at the Mint.
Yeah.
They are mint flavored.
I have mint.
The green box.
Yeah, I have mint, s'mores, and caramel brownie.
We can work with that.
Does the Girl Scout Committee of America even pretend to try to make profit from anything but Girl Scout cookies these days? They're just like, hey guys, we're selling, pins or like hair clips this week, but nobody gives a fuck. So just wait for next month when we start selling cookies.
No, they only do fundraising during Girl Scout cookie time. And it was actually dramatic because last year the Boy Scouts tried to sell cookies and the Girl Scouts went at them because they were like, cookies are a thing, but back up.
Dude, totally. Let the boys sell like pocket knives or some shit.
I knew I was gonna say a Swiss Army knife.
They sell like popcorn. There's like a few things that the boys sell.
Popcorn.
Yeah, it's like not that great.
They should be selling first aid kits or something more on brand. All right.
Dude, buy from the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts. Figure it out yourselves. Start flipping cards or something.
Is this the Mint?
Yeah, it's mint.
I don't really like the Mint. I'm not gonna lie.
That's the
That's why we're not
dude.
using any boxes here for bringing everything to the mint.
All right.
Do you put those green boxes in the freezer?
That's the best way to eat them.
That's
if you're
the
going to eat.
trick. So if Chris doesn't like them, has he had them through the
I've
freezer?
never had Mint Girl Scout cookies through the freezer. That's
Well, then don't say you don't like them until that happens.
That's
Okay.
true.
all right. Fair enough.
It's like eating pizza until you eat Elliot's. Do you really know what pizza is until you've had it?
Dude, I might be placing an Elliot's order in a few minutes here. Let me tell
You'll
you.
be placing it.
You don't see. You just put another thought in my head. You just put the thought of Elliot's in my head, and now I'm salivating.
Well, I mean, I was influenced to do that,
Right? Yeah. You got. Did they push notification in?
Yep.
A few more questions here. We'll cut this off in 10 minutes at 12:30.
Woohoo! This guy slept in today, by the way, everybody. And now all of a sudden he needs to get to bed early. You seeing this?
Yeah. Yep. And I took a nap as well.
Dude, can't you just get a self-driving car and just nap on the way there?
Dude, why do you think I'm so knowledgeable about these self-driving cars?
That's what you're like. Does it drive me where I can sleep, or where are we at with that?
Right, exactly. All right. Mike Pinkerton 50 says, my local shows have been packed lately. Is this a sign of growth in the hobby?
No.
Have they been? How was Dallas?
It was good. It was well attended. It was great. It was just it was Dallas, man. You know what that show's like. It was.
Well,
It was a lot. You know what it didn't have as much of? It definitely didn't have as much camera crews. And that whole movement has kind of chilled in Dallas.
Why do you think that is?
It's not the new thing anymore. Now it's real work to go to the Dallas show. It's real. It's just the novelty or the excitement of oh, this is this really cool show in Dallas and it's the hot thing. And I think now it's just a routine. Now it's where find a lot of seasoned dealers, find a lot of people who are in the local industry from maybe a few hours out of the Dallas area coming in to set up and go to the show. And I think that has something to do with it. And I think maybe it's just, it's not as fun to make content when you buy a card at one Dallas show, and then at the next one, it's twice as valuable. You know,
Or half as valuable.
well, now it's completely different. But you know, once upon a time, it was a different market.
Man, that's good to hear. I hope there's less of that camera crew stuff going forward.
Yep. So what do you say to Pinkerton? What does it mean? Because I agree. Like I've seen shows. You know, I see more and more shows popping up. They all seem to be well attended. What does it mean that shows are packed?
It has to be good, right? I mean, how else can you take that? It's a solid barometer.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Stacking Kabooms was there. He says the trade night was insane. Yeah.
I mean, to me, it's like, you know, 1 million people, let's say, came in during the boom. That's probably wrong, but I'm just putting out a number. If like 100,000 stick around, we lost 900,000. There's this chasm that was created of this total drop in value. If we added 100,000 people to these shows who are genuinely excited and they stick with it, the net was that we still added 100,000 people who are now sticking around and packing these shows and making trade nights crazy, and everyone's having fun and the energy is up. We're not thinking about anymore that this used to be 1 million. You know, like you're still focused on the fact that there's a lot of people here.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love that point of view. The one thing I think about is like, who is the profile of the person that goes to a show? Is it the average hobby consumer? And I don't think it is. I think the profile of the person who goes to the show is an expert level participant in the hobby in most instances. So I think like shows being packed means that expert level people in the hobby are turning out in large numbers, and there might be more experts now and so on and so forth. But I don't know that it necessarily means that the bulk of the hobby, which I think is mostly more people who do their buying and selling online, have a local shop, you know, but don't necessarily make it out to the shows. Because like going to a show is a commitment, you know, that's a whole big thing, and it's like, it's just not, it's more for the people who are like more immersed in the hobby. So I'm not sure that a packed show necessarily means that the hobby as a whole is growing, because I don't think we're zooming in on a representative group of the hobby as a whole. Yeah.
I mean, we look to grow the hobby through creating more people like that. So like it's a good barometer for us to say this is a good future indicator of, you know, an organic growth of the hobby, because everyone has made a commitment to be here. They care about it enough to be here. They've spent money. They've traveled away from their families on the weekend. Like this is something that's a commitment to the level of like, this is really fun for me.
Yeah. All right. Lamim James says, should I buy a blue check on Instagram for $15 a month?
Is it $15 a month?
$14.99, I think, to be precise.
I feel like Lamim would be much better served not having a blue check. It's part of his brand.
Right.
And especially if you can get one through money, it's going to get to a point where it's actually better to not have a blue check, correct?
Correct. I think that's right.
Unless you're like a business, like a brand or a business, I think it's always important so that people know that their message. But if you're like a content creator who likes to live on the edge and you know your brand is sort of that you're edgy, I would think you would not want the blue check.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I don't know what to make of it from like a business point of view from the side of Instagram, but I do know that Twitter recently introduced Twitter Blue, which is this service. It's a paid subscription service. You get a check mark and you get a few extra features that are pretty cool. Like you can make longer tweets, your replies get prioritized to other tweets. And so Twitter has this Twitter Blue feature that you can pay for, and you get the check mark, and you get the little perks that come with it too. And now this is Instagram's answer to that, where I think it's technically called Meta Verified. So I don't know if it's going to come to Facebook as well, but the thing that stands out to me is like these businesses are trying to create subscription-based models to monetize their users. That's what it feels like to me.
Can I have 10 seconds to dance on the metaverse grave.
Let's
What happened to
go.
metaverse, you guys? Like, what happened? Facebook changed their fucking company's name to this, and they don't even invest in it anymore. What happened? Where's all the art galleries in the metaverse? I haven't seen them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice dance. I enjoyed it.
Are you picturing me doing like the Irish, like the dance thing?
But like with your with the skirt on and the legs.
Yeah, it's just like metaverse. These nuts.
What's up, Bill? Let's go, Bill. Bill has been a staunch hater alongside us.
I feel like Bill would be a good person to get a beer with then.
Yep.
We'll get them in.
He would. Yep. Looking forward to meeting Bill at the Mint.
That's always the good test for would I enjoy this person. Would I get a beer with them and make fun of the metaverse? That's just like a step one to being my friend. River dancing, thank you.
River dance. All right, there we go. Okay. Let's see.
Am I here? Like, can you hear me?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Credit
All right.
to the chat for bringing up river dancing. I didn't hear it until the chat mentioned it. Perfect.
Nice. Well done, chat.
Yep.
I'm gonna get punched the second I arrive to Vegas.
Let's squeeze in one last question here. Because I didn't get to about 50.
The questions have been much better this week.
Yeah, no, the questions were outstanding. And a lot of these questions require bigger answers, so...
Which one will
this is a fun-
turn you into a rant?
No rants. It's too late.
The NBA does such a good job marketing their players.
Yep, there we go. You could just create some burner accounts and send in certain questions.
Like Brax Ball. It would be the easiest. I could just make it. I can make a burner tomorrow, build it up to 100 followers, and just like pepper you all day.
Yeah, well, someone sent in. I mean, sometimes no one's ever really exploited the question asking feature, but some people get close to it. All right, let's just do this. This is a fun, light final question. It's Q says. It's KQ says, is Damian Lillard finally going to leave Portland? What do you think?
Did you see his quote where he was like throwing in the towel?
Yeah. He's had like sort of a roller coaster of quotes, because at first he was like, I love being here. I'm not a big fan of rings culture, et cetera, et cetera. And then, a little while later, he's like, man, this is tough. It sucks.
Yeah. I don't know. It kind of seems like he's okay with this like little, I'll throw up 60 points every once in a while and stay relevant, go to the All-Star game, have fun, make a ton of money. I think I saw his cap hit was like 60 million or something after this current deal he's in. Like his extension kicks in and it's 60 million a year. It's like, fuck, I'll move to Portland for 60 million. It's like, it's hard to judge as someone on the outside being like, oh, come on, man, take 40 million and go compete on a team. And, versus like the guy's making 60 million bucks to kind of live his dream of playing in the NBA. Like, I can't really fault him that much. It's a pretty sweet little gig.
Yep. I think that's right. And, I don't know. I haven't paid attention to the Trailblazers this year, but I thought they had a nice roster with Dame and Simons and Nurkic and Jeremy Grant. I thought they should have been good. I don't know.
Their defense is just so bad.
Yeah. That'll do it. That will do it. Okay, let's pick a name.
Yeah.
I wrote down a few. We didn't have Stiff to help us this time, so probably missed a few good ones.
That's a glaring weakness in the show this week that I've noticed.
I know. This is I had to actually do the work of trying to pay attention to names, and it's not as easy as he makes it look.
Yeah, I literally, if you asked me to guess what you wrote down, I would get none of them.
Well, all right, here's some of them, all right. Taking the metaphor further.
Anything that triggers Christina is a good caption.
I know. I do like that one. Watch me turn this pen into an island.
I like how the pen is pink too. That just like adds to it.
My stupid pink gator pen from the industry summit.
The best is when you have a pen that has like an advertisement for something that is not really related to your life. It's like, how did I get this pen? I don't even understand where this came from.
Like a life insurance pen or something.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
I probably have something like that over there. All right. Grab a beer and trash the metaverse. Okay, that's pretty good.
Man,
Lauren.
it's funny because like we say that and then people will come up to us at shows and just like make fun of the metaverse just to test to see if we'll actually and we'll just like immediately join in and like, no, it's real. We actually hate it.
All right. We are in the cave of the high rise. That's something. The Gremlins. Combustion engines are player worn.
It's just like the lack of context on these is amazing.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I mean, those are the rest of these are just. Those are the four.
I'm between the penned island, which is yours, and the combustion engine, which is mine. So we got one for each of us. Christina's automatically out.
Yep, Christina's out. But she came up with taking the metaphor. Well, no, you said taking the metaphor further.
Yeah.
And she just like pissed her off.
Pointed out that when I do it, that's not what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a female male thing. That's you're Christina and we just like to pick on you thing.
I'm aware.
I like the combustion engines because it's early in the episode. So like you figure out what the title means within 20 minutes. You don't have to wait like
yeah, but the penned island thing is like, oh god, I know what they're talking about. It's so annoying. That keeps happening in shows.
Yeah, it's a little niche. Player worn is everybody knows what that is.
But you like the way you like held the pen up when you said it was like a stupid pink pen that you held up as you said it. You're like, watch me turn this pen into a fucking island. I'm good with either. I think they're both funny.
Christine, do you have a coin?
No.
Just make her pick one.
No, we don't want to do that. She'll pick hers.
No, I mean pick one of the two. Yes.
We're going to do a digital coin flip. All right. Flip one virtual coin.
You know what? I'm gonna disappear one day at minute just to so everyone could laugh with the two of you not turning in circles in the middle of the hallway.
This is so weird. It keeps getting the same side. Oh, there we go. All right. So
I feel like an ancient coin.
This is heads. Heads will be pen to island, and tails will be combustion engines. And I will flip this coin 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Oh, it's tails.
Does that actually flip?
Which is, it did. Yeah, it records a new timestamp each time.
Huh.
All right, so we're going with combustion engines.
What is it? Say the whole thing.
The combustion engines are player worn.
I don't even remember the context of that one, and I said it. So
it's the car. It's the we were trying to figure out what the Tesla's.
Oh, because you said it was like optic or something.
Yeah. Yes.
Sure. It doesn't even make sense, but it's pretty good.
That if it makes sense, better than most of our titles. So, all right,
That's
guys.
not what you
See you at the Mint. Otherwise, see you guys in 2 weeks.
We're reaching the top.
A lot has changed since Card Ladder began. We started with 500 cards in our database, and now we have over 3 million cards and over 30 million sales.
For anyone asking who is the best, we putting our hands up.
With Card Ladder's sales history feature, we have virtually every card in our system. If the card you are looking for ever sold on one of these platforms, you can find it using Card Ladder's sales history, and you can add a card to your collection with just one click.
My time. None of you people can tell me to stop.
Plus, every card, no matter the last time it's sold, has an estimated value that we calculated using our state-of-the-art player indexes. Unlike other apps, when you see Card Ladder's verified checkmark, that means a researcher personally vetted each and every sale.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
We know what you want, because Card Ladder was created by collectors for collectors.
Know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Join the innovators, not the imitators. Card Ladder 2.0, constantly innovating. Try it for free. See why Card Ladder is the industry leader in sports card data.
We know what it takes to be reaching the top.
Card Ladder 2.0.